Hello everyone. So in today's video, we are going to make a really super cute and super easy 3-pumpkin stack. All right, look at how cute that is. So this is 8 inches wide at the base and about 11 inches tall total. I guess it depends on how tall you would like to make your stem. Let's see, if we measure it without the stem, it will be 8 inches tall. So it'll be 8 inches wide and 8 inches tall, and then you add your stem. So with my stem, it came out to about 11 inches. All right, so if this is something you want to make, let's get started. All right, so to make our stackable Beetlejuice pumpkins, I used these 3 yarns. The black is a Red Heart Super Saver, and the green is a Red Heart Super Saver, and they are all 3 from Walmart online, okay? All right, so pictured here is the recipe to make the stackable pumpkins. It's very, very easy to make, and I wrote it out so that number 1 is when you're on your Addi 46, number 1 is the first thing you're going to do. You're going to use your black yarn and do 5 rows. Then when you do that, you'll go to number 2, white 5 rows, okay? Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is cast on our black yarn. We're going to do 5 rows of black, and we're going to alternate between our black and our white every 5 rows, okay? Okay, so this is how I cast on my last white needle. I'm going to hook it under the hook. And the next one, I'm going to go behind it, then in front, then behind, in front, behind, front, behind, in front, behind, front, behind, all the way around. This is called casting on. Okay, so your last needle should always end with your yarn going behind it, okay? Put it in our feeder. Set our counter to 0. Then we're going to do 5 rows of black. Keeping my tension firm on my yarn. All right, now it's time to switch to our white yarn. We're going to do 5 rows of white. To put our next color on, we're going to go right behind that same needle. Put it through our thread guide. Going to hold on to the 2 tails for the black and the white. All right. Pull it tight. All right. So now I'm going to do 5 rows of white. All right. So now we're going to go back to black again. We're going to do this back and forth until we have a total of 40 rows of our black and white. So when I get there, I'll meet you back. Okay, so we have all of our black and white rows on. Now we're going to add our green yarn. And we're going to do 30 rows of green. When I get that on, I'll get back to you. Okay, so now that we have our 30 rows of green on, we're going to add our black again. And we are going to do 40 rows of black, okay? So once I get that on, I'll meet you back here. Okay, so now that we have our 40 rows of black, we're going to add our green again. And we're going to do 30 rows of green, and then I'll meet you back here. Okay, so now that we have all of our rows done, the last thing we have to do is cast off. So, going to pick up our stitches. Let me cut some of this off. It's too long. Okay. So we're going to go around and pick up all of our stitches one by one. Like that. So I'm going to pick up all 46 stitches and I'll meet you back here. All right. So there we go. There's our donut. So now we'll take it to the table and open it up. All right. So now that we have our tube made, what we're going to do next is fold it in on itself, just like when you make a hat. Okay. So you're going to fold it in on itself, and then we're going to pull that drawstring, that tail that we have, and cinch it closed on each end. And then we will stitch it closed with our bent needle. Pulled tight, knot it off. We'll go ahead and stitch around here. Alright, so this is how it looks so far. So here's one pumpkin, two pumpkin, three pumpkins. Okay, this is our bottom pumpkin. So let me stitch around the bottom right here and close this off really good. So let me get my needle. So I'll take one of these long tails. And I'll stitch this closed. So I'm just going to grab these loops right here close to the center. I'm going to go all the way around. Grab. Okay guys, so the next step is we are going to put a drawstring on our hat at the exact point of where each pumpkin begins and ends. So you see we have the black and white stripes, and then the green, and then the black. Those are our 3 stackable pumpkins that we're going to make out of this hat that we made. Okay, so we're going to weave our drawstring 3 times through there, because that is where we're going to pull it and cinch up each of our pumpkins. Okay, now if you haven't done the drawstring before and you haven't seen some of the other videos I've made where I do this, what I'm doing is I'm going to pick up 2 stitches, skip 2, pick up 2, skip 2, and I'm weaving my bent needle and a piece of yarn all the way around the hat in a complete circle to where I end with 2 strings. Those are the 2 strings that I'm calling the drawstring that we will cinch up as we close it and stuff it. Okay, all right, so now that we have all of our drawstrings on our hat, now the next step is to start to fill it. This is what I use polyfill. And what we're going to do is just take a handful at a time, kind of separate it a little bit so it's nice and fluffy, and then we will begin stuffing our stackable pumpkins. We'll start at the bottom with the stripes, and we'll fill it up, and then we'll pull those drawstrings and cinch it closed, and then do the green and the black. I did the lines for the pumpkin. So what I did here is I filled up the bottom, the stripe section with polyfill, and then I pulled the drawstring and I cinched it closed, and I tied it off, and then I stitched it. Okay, then what I did is I took black yarn on my bent needle and I fed it through the top of the pumpkin down through the bottom, and then I brought that yarn up back to the top of the pumpkin down through the bottom 8 times all the way around the stripe section, and I pulled it tight each time to give that ridge in the pumpkin. Okay, so you're going to do this each time you fill a section. So that's how it looks when I did it for the stripe section. So the next thing I would do is fill the green, cinch it close with the drawstring, tie it off, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to feed a green yarn down through the top, come out through the bottom, and all the way around to do all of the ridges in the pumpkin, and then tie it off. Okay, and then the same thing with the black section. All right, so the last thing we need to do on our stackable pumpkins is to add our stem. Now you can do your stem all different ways. Some people use cinnamon sticks. Some people use a branch cut short that they'll insert into the top black pumpkin and then hot glue it. What I did is I just did 16 rows on my Addi 46. I cast on, cast off, then I rolled it and stitched it closed so that it looked like a stem. I inserted that stem into the top of the black pumpkin, and then I just stitched it all the way around to hold the stem in place. All right, so that's one idea of how you can do your stem. All right, guys, so as you can see, we made our stackable pumpkins, and they're super adorable. I love it. Okay, so you don't have to do this in these colors. Do this in fall colors, Christmas colors, or maybe your room decor colors, whatever you like. There are no rules on my channel. Well, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Like and subscribe to Grandma's channel. Like and subscribe to Grandma's channel.